Hey, good morning YouTube. We're back at the garage on a Sunday morning. It's a nice cool day, so we're going to take care of a couple other things I need to do on the C5 Corvette. One of the things that I need to do is I need to replace the steering column cover. Ever since I put the quick disconnect steering wheel in there and took this one out, some of the fasteners and things like that, the tabs along the sides got broken. You know, it's 20 some years old, the plastic gets old and brittle, so I'm going to show you how to replace this. Okay, so inside the car you can see I've been driving this around now that I've got the rebuild done without a steering column cover, so everybody looks to the window, thinks that you boosted the car from somewhere, and it looks a little ghetto. So the first step we're going to take in getting access to the steering column to be able to put this on without breaking any of the little plastic tabs and things like that on it is we're going to get as much access as possible. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the trunk switch out, and you do that by just prying on it real gently, and that'll pop right off, and it's got a connector on the back. You'll just unplug it and that'll be out of your way. Now behind your trunk and fog lamp switch, you can see the connector right there. That's already unplugged, but there's a screw back here that you got to take out, and once you take that out, that loosens up this part of the dashboard, so you can take this whole bottom piece out all the way over to this side. The next couple of fasteners that you got to take out are underneath this cover here. There's one on your left of the steering column, and there's one over here on the right. And to avoid a trip to your chiropractor, one of the things I've learned over the years is just push your finger on the fastener real hard, and then look at the end of your finger, and you can tell what type of a fastener is in there. That's obviously a Torx. Okay, so I've already got this popped off and pretty loose, but I think there's one more fastener behind your air temperature sensor. This is for your heater air conditioner. That comes off the exact same way. Just gently pop it with a screwdriver and it comes right off. And behind the temperature sensor, you have another fastener. I've already loosened that one up. By the way, always keep a magnetic tray to put all your fasteners in. And that pretty well loosened up the dash, so I can get this pulled out of here, and then I'm going to have to disconnect the temperature sensor on the back side. Now that that's out of the way, I got my new steering column cover here, and you can see from the seam that's where it connects together, and then it's got a hook and fastener on the back side. So I'm going to get that separated, and the first part I'm going to start to install is the top section, not the bottom. Got those pieces separated. You go ahead and set the bottom off to the side, but you can see the hook on the back side of the bottom, and then on the inside, two spots where you have bolt mounting holes. And then on the top side, that in the back and that in the back is what connects into your hook fastener on the back side there. And then this also has bolt holes on the inside. And I'm going to show you why we do the top first. So on the inside of the top clamshell, you have 3 different posts, okay? 2 of these in the front get screws that go into them, and then this one in the back sits in a guide, which is right there. That way you know you got your clamshell in the right place. You got a screw that goes in here and another screw that goes in here. So I got the top clamshell put in place. I've already put this screw in and this one here, and you'll notice that when you start to tighten those screws down, the clamshell is going to start to pull down and leave you about a 1/16 of an inch gap around your steering hub, and that doesn't matter if it's an NRG or if it's the factory steering hub, but you're gonna have just a little gap in between there. Now the next step of this is gonna be putting your bottom clamshell in, which is the reason I took the bottom dashboard off of here, is so that you can get these hooks onto the post. With the bottom one on here and the seal around it, it doesn't give you enough room to move it. And how this is gonna go is you're gonna hook it in, and then you're gonna roll it up, and then your metal tabs will click right in. Also make sure that you're keeping your turn signal, headlight switch, wiper switch bezels on the inside of the clamshell, not on the outside. Okay, so I'm going to gently slide this back here. Try not to go past the hook like I just did. Got that one popped in. The side's just a little bit trickier. You can't see a dang thing in here. Did it go in? I think it did. Okay. Once you got those two connected, make sure everything lines up. Give it a squeeze, and you're done. Well, you're not done, but you're close to done. Just gonna double check that. Next thing is you got a couple more fasteners underneath here that you need to put in. Don't go too tight, because you don't want to crack the plastic. That one's proven to be a little more difficult. So, I'm just going to gently take a scribe. Make sure the hole is lined up. So it's just getting ready to put the dashboard back in, and I noticed I got a couple more repairs that I gotta do, so I'll show you how I'm gonna get these fixed up. So if you look at the mounting hole, like we talked about earlier, the plastic starts to get old and brittle. You'll see it's got a few cracks in it. That's gonna eventually end up breaking. I got another one over here on this side, or it's got a crack right here. So what I'm gonna do to fix this is I'm gonna take a Dremel with a sanding barrel. I'm gonna sand those areas on both sides. And what I'm gonna do is I took an old piece of t-shirt and I cut it into a little bit of strips. And with the help of some JB Weld, super glue is all it really is. I'm gonna soak those in super glue, and I'm gonna lay them over the cracks after I've sanded and cleaned up these areas. And basically what that's gonna do, it's gonna hold that plastic all together.
Because that is where you have the highest pressure. Get in there. Okay. All right. So let's see. Let's do another example of this. But let's bring this bucket up. So the way to think about this, the reason if you go back to the basics, where it's like all that matters.
Gonna let that super glue soak all the way through. So the fabric's in place, it's been completely saturated in super glue, it's all dry now. I threw a little heat gun to it. But once you finish up, you can take your Dremel tool again and you can sand that cloth, and basically what you've done is a little bit of a fiberglass repair. There, now it's all flush, it's not going to catch on anything. I'm going to re-get my bolt hole. Got the spot where my bolt's going to go. And this is ready to go back in the car. Back in the car, I got the bottom dash panel put back in place. I've already plugged in my air temperature sensor for the inside, pulled my wiring through for your trunk release and fog lamp switch. Okay, go ahead and put the fastener back in. And that repair we did on there worked out real well. So for this spot, can put, oops. Sensor covers back on. Gonna put the screw back in there. Put my switch back in. Last thing we got left to do, gonna pop the steering wheel on here. Go ahead and start it.